So what if there's a Christian who doesn't want family-friendly, clean comedy?
That's where you go to the comedy clubs.
But is it almost okay? But here's the thing, right? Because something that I think has been a gap, and I think is a need actually in the Christian community is that it's almost like if it's not family friendly, like all ages, then it's not allowed.
Yeah.
But then if you go out into like say the world, then you're basically going all the way to the other side. Next thing you know, you're like, what? Where am I? Like things gone too outrageous.
Yeah.
Something that's I'm actually very curious about is what would it look like to have an over 18s Christian experience?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey guys, don't bring your kids here.
Right.
No, this is not for kids. They're too young to experience this. But as Christians, we're old enough, mature enough, but also we can keep it in a line in a way that's still like, say, honoring to God, and it's not going outside of that, godliness boundary, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, what would be your thoughts on that? Is that something that, would that be interesting to you? If, say, for example, right, like a young adults crew. It was like, hey, we want you to perform for us.
Yeah.
Go all out. Don't go like, don't become the devil.
Right.
But like, feel free to allow it to be something that's even raw and something that is like, you know what I mean? Probably, kids probably shouldn't be hearing this because it might be too mature and too advanced for them to be hearing at their young ages.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, like, it depends on the person, really. It depends on the crew or, like, whichever age group they ask me to perform. Like, I do have to read the room. That is an important thing as a comedian, is to read the room and know. You kind of got to do your research, like, okay, so are they a couple? Are they single? So you can talk about those kind of themes that those people can relate to. And depending on their backbone or depending on how far they can accept the joke, it's like, as a comedian, you're just like going to that line and seeing how far you can go a little bit over that line, but not too far over.
Do you feel like the line's too, for lack of a better word, soft at the current point in time in some areas? Do you feel like there is room for it to go further than what it currently is?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think there's room.
You're gonna be banned from church now. I'm playing.
This is.
I'm blasting this. I'm sending this to every church. No. We both gonna get canceled.
Sweating.
Okay, no, but here's something that's very real, and I think, look, I think in anything we're talking about, you're gonna have people who say would agree, people who will disagree, but ultimately, I think the dialogue is what's very important. If you do believe there is maybe an area to go further in, is there a specific area that you thought, they don't, maybe I'm not really allowed to speak about this in general, but this is something that you feel like would actually be fine to speak about that you're not allowed to? Is there any particular area in general you feel that can go further?
Like in terms of like themes?
Yeah, a particular theme or a particular topic. Sorry, I probably explained it wrong initially.
Yeah, I think there are definitely a lot of like in terms of like church context, I find like the church kind of behaviors, like kind of little, like some of the funny things that like over worshipping in church, like when that guy just like worships really hard out, but it's just like trying to impress the girl that's behind.
This guy trying to worship to pick up. Worship. Oh man, my arms are so high right now, man. She must be loving this.
It's like tithes and offerings. I just donated 20%. Oh my God.
Can you imagine that? Like the offering basket coming through, someone's like, I'm pulling out bands on bands. Like, who loves God more than me, man? Passes it on. He was like, oh, he really loves God. It's amazing.
True. And he's just lasting on bread and
he's spending all his money at church and can't survive the winter. This is crazy.
But I like kind of those church observations that are very funny to like bring up in a church. I think that's funny, and also like relationships, I think is a funny thing that you can dive deeper into. Yeah. Because it does get like a bit sugar coated, and does get a bit like not deeper than what people are actually facing in reality.
And here's where will be my my concern
Yeah. Later on.
with that kind of reality, that being the reality as well.
Right.
Because I feel like when people come into church, say for the first time, people have a great BS detector.
Yeah.
They have a good authenticity detector. And it's like, sometimes have you spoken to someone where you feel like you're saying all the right things, but there's something that's telling on yourself.
Yeah.
There's something that's about that just says, no, that's not the real deal. There's something behind this that I'm not showing you. At times, I think we have fallen victim of putting forward a facade, but not having the true selves come out.
Yeah.
And at times, I think it can also maybe alienate others who feel like they're having to now pretend to be something else.
Yeah.
Like one thing I was telling you last time when we chat, right? I was like, there are like when the pastor's preaching a message, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting as like one of the audience members, and I know my crowd and a group of friends, and we're all Christians. We all go to church like weekly and whatnot. Yeah. But I'm like, I know also the lives and the things we deal with. I'm like, fam, if we were as raw and real about what's going on, some services will sound completely different. It would sound like we know what you're up to. Yeah. We know what's going down here. And I think as well, if that was put into a comedy aspect, like where you could almost jab at the hypocrisy of church people at times while doing it in a light way that also maybe can be a bit convicting as well, I think can be but those are things that I like to kind of see. Like that's stuff that kind of gets me curious about it, you know?
I think that's what people like about a comedian's mind is they're able to speak out what's on their mind and like have that confidence to own up to it and deliver it with like an innocence that's crafted through performing so many times that they're just used to it. They're built like mad confidence and just solid and know that I know this is I know this is like an observation that you don't like you don't want to speak about, but when I mention it, everyone's gonna be like, that's true, and it's also funny.